I am going to be talking today about 3 ways the inner critic sabotages our success. So, if you are interested, please, hi Alex, please let me know. Share this with anyone who needs a little reminder about why it's time to quiet that voice in our mind that is sabotaging them from who they truly are at the core. So many of my clients, well, all of my clients, are very impactful and influential people. And the more and more they are aware of themselves, the more they can wield their impact with more intention. Some people are more impactful or influential when we think about it, like in the stereotypical like societal roles. Like some people have high positions, some people might be attorneys or politicians, community leaders. Other people are influential in more invisible ways, like some people are authors or they're artists. Like when you read one of their paragraphs, it brings you to tears, or when you see some of their art, it moves you. It reminds you of something. It feels like they were speaking directly to you. So there's many different ways in which we can be influential. There's many different ways in which we are impactful people. And the inner critic likes to come and sabotage what that success looks like for us. So I want to share a story about that and share 3 ways in which that happens and what we can do to turn that around. So thank you for joining in on that today. I'm also going to be having a link if you're interested in receiving some of my coaching on how to turn these things around for yourself. You'll be able to book and schedule there. So the first way the inner critic sabotages success is by blinding a person of their true impact on the world. So you might have you ever met someone that you know is incredibly talented and they don't see it? That's what I'm talking about. There a lot of the times the inner critic blinds them of the impact that they have. It blinds them of the way that they move people. It blinds them of that power and that effect that they have. So it tends to kind of give a foggy filter of awareness of the gifts that we may have or the skills that we may bring to the table. And it skews our perspective of the true power and influence that we have. The second way the inner critic sabotages our success is that it doesn't let us celebrate our wins. And celebration is so key. Celebration is required to bask in the moment. It's required to rejuvenate. It's required to build beautiful memories with our loved ones. It's required to harvest, to celebrate the fruits of your labor. A lot of the times when the inner critic takes over, the people I talk about tend to be very goal-oriented people. So then you reach one goal and then you redirect your attention and move to the next. Don't really pause once you've reached the goal and celebrate the accomplishment. Pause and celebrate the progress made. Pause and celebrate and recognize, oh my God, we did it. Oh my gosh, all that work that was put in. I see the hearts there. Some of you are resonating with that. The work that was put in, what I did. Oh my goodness. And just allowing that moment to pause and really bask in that. That is so important. That is so important. We get strength from that. We rejuvenate our resources in that way. We create memories with our loved ones in that way. A lot of the times in our key relationships, the way someone responds to a celebration can have a bigger impact than sometimes even an argument. Like, have you ever gone and wanted to celebrate something with your best friend or your loved one, and then if they respond in a dismissive way, that can pop your bubble and hurt you in a way that maybe an argument wouldn't be able to. It is so important for our mental health, for our well-being, and just for us in general to celebrate. There's a reason why that is such a big part of so many cultures. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Elizabeth, I see you saying needing to pause more. Yes, and pause and celebrate the progress made, because that is what gives you the strength. That is what gives you the energy. That is what rejuvenates you. That's what gives you the joy to keep on going. And the inner critic is definitely a party pooper, okay? The inner critic is not about let's party it up, let's celebrate. So celebrating is really, really, really important. And that's one way, the second way that the inner critic sabotages our success is that it doesn't let us celebrate. It just tries to treat us like a machine, like you gotta go to the next thing and get the next thing. It robs us of the very important time we need to spend in celebrating what we've done so far. We need to nourish ourselves from the fruits of our harvest, so we actually have the energy to sow more seeds and to continue watering, etc., etc. The third way that the inner critic sabotages our success is that it pauses our purpose. And this one I want to spend a little bit more time explaining with a story. Before I do that, I want to remind you that I have opened up my calendar for some coaching calls. So if you are interested in doing some of this inner critic work with me, use the link that you're going to see in the description area to book a call. So the client that inspired the theme for today's video is the type of woman where when she speaks, you feel chills go up and down your spine. The eye contact that she gives you demands your attention. She is a woman that just exudes power. It's just part of her aura. I'm sure you've met at least one person like that before, where it's just like just being in the room with them, their presence is felt. She's one of these types of women. And when we are those types of people, we often feel called to a purpose greater than ourselves, as she was. And when you are a wave maker, when you are a person that challenges the status quo, stress is a part of life. Stress is a big part of life, because the status quo does not want to go anywhere. But when you're a wave maker, when you're trying to make things happen, you are confronted with a whole lot of opposition. And that opposition creates a lot of stress. And I'm going to make a separate video about this, but stress and the inner critic, they like to ride together. They like to collude. And so a lot of the times, the inner critic comes up more often when we're in stressful situations, but we'll talk about that in another video. Today, we're talking about how it impedes our success. So for this client in particular, because the nature of what she does, not only just in her personal life, because she's just powerful, just who she is, in her professional life, her professional work is to create change. She is a change maker, and she is consistently in situations that are very stressful, and that just is the open door for the inner critic to come in and to take over. And so the way that was playing out in her mind was that it had her continuously redirecting her attention to the next goal, the next problem I gotta solve, what isn't working, what isn't enough, the worst case scenario, and what I need to do to prepare for it, and how I need to fix it. Hello, Anna. And so often when we keep on redirecting our attention to that, when our psychology, when our psyche is focused there, one metaphor I like using is that the inner critic has a time machine, and it likes taking us in the little time machine to the worst case scenario future and abandoning us there. And then we keep on thinking and playing out, okay, what am I going to do if this happens? Da, 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 da. Anxiety takes over, and we're just stuck in that worst case scenario future. And then it sabotages us. It sabotages our success. It pauses our purpose because we're stuck way far off in some kind of worst case scenario future, and we're not in the present. We're not grounded in the now and figuring out and redirecting our attention to, okay, what tools do I have? What resources are at my disposal? What gifts and talents do I bring to the table? What can I do about this? How can my community stand up and support me in this? We are more problem-oriented and less focusing on the power that we can embody. We're less focused on the resources that we have. We're less focused on the solutions that we can create in the now and using the power in the moment of the now. And so when we step into that and when we operate from that place, then we're able to be energized and create momentum and move forward. But when the inner critic is taking over in that pace, we just feel exhausted. We are tired because part of the job requirement of people that are trying to create change in the world is to deal with opposition, is to be in stressful situations. And when the inner critic is sabotaging us from recouping, from tapping into our strength and our resources and all those things, what else can we do but feel defeated? What else can we do but feel exhausted? What else can we do but be running on empty? And that is the way that inner critic sabotages our success. That is the way that it ends up pausing our purpose, because we're just like, I'm tired. This burden is too much for one person to carry. I don't even know, like, if I could take another step. This is too much. And that's the place that the inner critic ends up taking us to when it roams free in our mind. And so if you can relate, let me know. I have seen this happen so many times before, and what I really want to do today is share what the turning point for this client was and what I really believe is going to be helpful to at least one of you listening. In a previous video, we talked about one way to shift the inner critic. One way to neutralize the inner critic was activating our inner compass, right? Redirecting the attention to that. But what I'm talking about today, we're at another level, right? That's individual level. When I'm talking to the wave makers, when I'm talking to the change agents, that intrinsic motivation, it doesn't give us the juice. It doesn't give us the energy that we need to create that momentum to push us to the other side. So the real pivotal moment in my work with this client is that it was key for her to tap into her communal self, for her to tap into her identity of belonging, of community, of the purpose for the people she is serving, the community she is working for, the us, the allowing yourself to step into the I am we. Because once we could step into our communal self, and once she was able to really ground her identity in who she was in the collective sense, she found strength where there was none. It completely washed away the inner critic. It was like, I don't have time for these mind games. Okay, I don't have time for these, for getting stuck in these emotional states. What I am being called to and who is relying on me to fill this gap, who is relying on me to create this wave, is so much bigger than that. And really able to ground yourself in that communal sense of identity, in that unity, in that group, then you're no longer just that one drop of water that's creating the ripple effect, but you can really ground yourself in your identity of yourself kind of as the wave. And my people, my community, you get that sense of power and drive and move and motivation from there. And that was so powerful and instrumental for this client, and I'm hoping that it's serving at least one of you here today. If you can resonate with that, let me know. I see the hearts. I'm so happy. I'm so happy this touched you. So I'm going to look over my notes because I want to make sure that I shared what I felt was I was being called to share with you today. But yeah, when you know that your purpose is greater than you, when you know that you're one of those wave makers, it's really, really important to ground yourself and know what your communal identity is, because that gives you a bigger pool of strength. A lot of the times we the inner critic likes to try to nitpick to death, or try to make it be about I'm not good enough, or I need to do more, or I. But when you're doing this type of work, you need to be able to create an identity that goes beyond the I, and that gives you the strength to keep on going. So I hope this was helpful. For those of you that tuned in and stayed the whole time, thank you. For those of you that are watching this later, thank you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are. And again, if you're interested in working with me on neutralizing that inner critic so that you could press play and you could do what you know you're called to do, use the link that you're going to see in the description. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you, beautiful queen. All right, bye.